it's now time to bring a feature on the show today as we bring in focus the rate of unemployment and poverty in the country. Well over 86 million Nigerians still live under the poverty line. Now, with population growth moving faster than the GDP growth rate, unemployment as well as inflation at double digits and the dwindling value of the naira, these are making it much more difficult for the average Nigerian to live or feed. However, government still prides itself in efforts at improving GDP growth and also reversing inflationary pressure. Now, to discuss this and much more in details, especially looking at the government's poverty reduction and growth strategy, we'll also have track records over the course of the year since the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari in focus. I have joining me Michael Ilo, an economist. Good to have you on the breakfast show this morning. Now, let's start off with the four pillars for this poverty reduction and growth strategy, this 10-year plan of government which seeks to ensure macroeconomic stabilization policies, industrialization for economic growth and transformation of the economy, looking at structural policies and institutional reforms, and also redistributive policies and programs to reduce the level of risk, vulnerability and shocks as well as deprivation. Do you think these pillars that ought to be the premise of the economic and growth strategy, do you think we have seen up until now government show a clear understanding of the situation on ground and the ability to turn things around?
Well, I'm sure within the presidency and the federal government, there are more than enough economists and policy analysts. So it's not a question of if they know, it's the question of whether they are willing and able to do the needful to make sure that we get from point A to point B. Point B being a position where the indices, indicators of poverty show a downward trend, and indicators of productivity and good governance and better lives for the citizenry are on the upward tick. So far for me, I think we are not doing enough. Government is doing something, but when you have a potential of moving at 100 kilometers per hour, if you are moving at 20, it's still a kind of movement, but I'm sorry to say it's not enough to get traction for you to get to where you are going within the time stipulated by yourself in the first instance. So government has a lot of work to do. I want to believe that going forward, they will be more serious with checking all the boxes and ticking all the doors that needs to be ticked.
And then we just had the report from the National Bureau of Statistics. Inflation rate still remains at double digits. It says, well, 17.01%. That means we are having a reversal in the inflationary pressure. But the deafening complaint is the issue that there's no ease in the economy from the point of view of manufacturers to households to corporate individuals and entities. How do we now begin to develop social cushions? We keep on repeating the same thing, but these still remain somewhat blind spots for those in authority.
Well, I think the thing to do is to put the problem in focus. If you are looking at things wrongly, ultimately, even if we are using the right tools, we are looking at the wrong parameters, you have issues. Government is talking about inflation, it's in double digits. I think the issue with the average Nigerian is that we are looking, the headline inflation we are looking at is not what the Bureau of Statistics is only looking at. So when you look at inflation of food, it's not going down, it's rather going up. The basic commodities of life that people like you and I, who don't have all the resources in the world, the things we are concerned about is not what they are measuring. At the end of the day, you are looking at accessibility to foreign funds, accessibility to things that you need to survive. It's difficult for the average person. Government needs to look at this. What are the other countries doing that we are not doing? By the time inflation is more than 4%, it becomes an issue for the government. So now imagine what kind of issue it will be if it's now in the double digits, which we have been having for the past few years now in this country. We should do something about it. Government has a responsibility to make sure that the value of money in the hands of the citizens is able to worth something. People should be able to store their currency in the local value of currency that they have. Why should everybody be looking for dollars up and down? It's because there's no implicit trust in the currency that we are having. And imagine keeping 1,000 naira in your bank account this time last year. By the time you go back there, look at the things you could have bought with that 1,000 then, and what you can buy with the 1,000 naira now, you know that there's a world of difference between it. So those who can afford it, people are taking loans to buy dollars, and this is the fact. I hope the government is listening to that. The CBN banned Bureau de change, and what has been the implication? People are still looking for that dollars wherever they might find it, and it's putting pressure on the value of the currency. These are the issues that government should tackle. If you want to tackle, as it were, if you want to tackle poverty, you should look at all the parameters that surround poverty. Learn from other countries, look at the social investment programs that you are touting, and see if it's really making a difference in the lives of the average person. If it's not, then you might need to change track and do something else over.
And would you also say that the current trading of the naira against other global currencies shows exactly how the situation we have on ground in terms of the state of the Nigerian economy? We have the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria meeting today, and then also we'll wrap up conversations tomorrow. Do you think that we still know how to position the Nigerian economy much more strongly in terms of our regional and global competitiveness, and then in the end we have the economy much more stabilized, we can create jobs, we can have households be able to attend to their needs? Do you think we'll see the naira come back to a stable level? Because if you're having the naira trade well over 400, 500 naira, and other forecasts are saying even with this move by the CBN to suspend Forex to broad exchange operators, we'll see it likely hit 600, 700 naira without cushions. Do you see us coming back to the track record where we ought to be?
What I see is that there's a mismatch between the policies and the actual effects on the street. Those who are doing policies for us, some people are actually calling for change at the helm of those affairs, but it's not my call, it's the president's call. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with the president. So if you think at the end of the day you want to be judged by how naira moved from 212 naira to 700 naira to buy $1 within your tenure, if you want that to be your legacy, then don't do anything. But if on the other hand you feel that something has to be done, Nigerians should feel better. You know, I was looking at statistics early this morning. Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world with about 90 million people in extreme poverty. Meanwhile, the country that was there before, they have less poor people, and that country was India. India has 7 times our population, and they have less poor people. Imagine even China. So why are we the indicators of the most extreme bad things in this world? You know, it's about governance. The average person is not the one to fix exchange rate. It's the government's responsibility to make sure that they provide enabling environment for business, for individuals to thrive. I was looking at targets of government's poverty reduction program. You look at rural poor, you look at urban poor, you look at women, you look at youth, you look at rural communities. Each of them have things that you can do to make their lives better. Look at the youth, for instance. All they need is, they need skills, they need to be employed. You know, they need to be steered away from crimes. Women need to make sure that, okay, maybe when they give birth, they don't lose their kids. That the things that they are doing, they are able to contribute to the economy. Unemployment for women in Nigeria, between unemployment and underemployment, we have about 50% of our women. For the men, is around 35%. Imagine if all these people are gainfully employed and contributing into the economy. Imagine the taxes they will pay. Maybe we will not even have reasons to be borrowing money. So when you don't do the needful, it comes back to haunt you. We have so much population in the north, but how many of them are gainfully employed? It's only during elections that you see them. But meanwhile, government should help them provide an enabling environment between the federal and the state government. It's not only federal government. Think of this as a problem. Somebody said, I think it was Voltaire, that no problem can endure the power of sustained thinking. If you are thinking about something, ultimately you come up with a solution. But when government is nonchalant about the problems of the country, ultimately the problems will persist. That is what I see here.
Thank you very much for your time on the breakfast show this morning, Michael Ilo. The consensus is loud and clear. Nigerians deserve better. Thank you once again.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.